What's going on, everybody? Trevor Sikkema here, welcoming you into another edition of Mock the Mock, the internet mock draft show hosted by me, where we take a look at the latest 2021 NFL mock draft over at the Draft Network and pick out some of our selections that I didn't necessarily agree with. Now, this week's a little bit different because it is free agency week. We're taking a look at Joe Marino's latest mock draft, but Joe wrote his mock draft on Sunday. So a lot has already changed. We're recording this on Tuesday to be fully transparent with you guys. So even when you watch this video on Thursday or Friday this week, a lot of might have changed in what I say, let alone what Joe wrote. But I thought it would be really fun to have a couple of different discussions with some of the selections that Joe made and be able to reflect on some of the early free agency moves. To start, we're going with the Denver Broncos. And this isn't actually a move that was changed via free agency. It was just a pick that I didn't necessarily agree with. Joe had the Denver Broncos taking a very, very talented corner, Patrick Surtain, the corner from Alabama. Objectively, good move. They need a corner. Patrick Surtain's a good one. But he had them taking Surtain over Caleb Farley, who is typically the pick at number 9. And maybe Joe just wanted to switch it up a little bit here. But Farley is the better fit for a Vic Fangio defense. I believe that fully. They do a lot more off-coverage stuff. You're looking at the quarterback a little bit more. You're trying to understand spacing. You're trying to have that click and close athleticism. And I think that Caleb Farley brings a lot more to the table in terms of a ceiling than Patrick Surtain does. Surtain is more of a soft press coverage guy who's up at the line of scrimmage, can really mirror well. And I don't mean to come off as saying that I don't think that Surtain would be a good pick. I still think it would be a good pick. I just don't think it would be the best pick. It doesn't have anything to do with free agency. It's just a player that I think fits what the Denver Broncos need a little bit better. Now we're getting into some free agency talk as we go down to number 22 for our next selection, where Joe had the Tennessee Titans taking Michigan edge rusher Paye. On Sunday, great pick. Would have loved it. Said edge rusher was a big need for them. They really need to capitalize on it, especially picking at number 22. If they could get themselves Paye, that'd be good. But since then, they've signed Bud Dupree. So now they got Bud Dupree on one side, Harold Landry on the other. All of a sudden, edge rusher's not such a big need for them. They could still hit it. I'm not saying that this is totally off the table, but I think they probably look elsewhere. I'd look at cornerback, and Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, all those guys were off the board at this point in time at number 22. Greg Newsome was still there, and I think that Greg Newsome could be a good selection for them. And so that's not going to be the last time you hear his name here this week for these episodes, but I feel like Newsome could have been a really nice pick for him. Again, I'm not going too hard after Joe because he didn't know that Bud Dupree was coming to Tennessee, but now that Dupree is there, this is kind of just me saying, look for a little bit of a draft need change or maybe a prioritizing change because they could go wide receiver as well, but Rashad Bateman, even Kadarius Toney, they were all off the board. If Newsome's still there at 22, though, Titans could take a good hard look at him. We don't have to go far for the last pick that we're discussing. And again, it's a free agency one where the draft need may have changed given what's happened over the last couple of days. Joe had the New York Jets at number 23 overall, selecting pass rusher Gregory Rousseau, who could still be a selection for them. But after they agreed to sign Carl Lawson, I guess it's not totally official yet because the new league year hasn't quite started. But we believe that Carl Lawson is going to the New York Jets. And so with that, maybe edge rusher isn't this big of a priority over maybe some other positions. They could certainly still use Rousseau, especially because he is a very versatile defensive lineman that can play on a lot of different spots. But they're happy with just the addition of Carl Lawson. Maybe don't want to spend 23 on that position. Offensive line, you got to look at that. Elijah Vera Tucker was still on the board. Corner, Greg Newsome was still on the board. So I feel like the New York Jets could go a different direction now after they have signed Carl Lawson. It's not too much hate because they could still certainly go with Gregory Rousseau. But with them signing Lawson, I think they might be able to look elsewhere, especially if guys like Vera Tucker and Greg Newsome are still on the board. All right, that's all for Mock the Mock this week. We got to end this episode now so we can quick edit it and put it up really quick before any more free agents sign it. We got to redo the whole thing, but it's sure to be an incredible week where there's a lot of different changes going on for a lot of different teams. We got favorite fits coming out later this week and more free agency recap over at thedraftnetwork.com. We're going to be checking out all the different teams and how their draft needs are changing throughout free agency week.